Hello everyone, I am Ajoy Kurup from Mumbai, India. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this August gathering to celebrate the 87th birth anniversary of Dr. Ajoy Hammer. Dr. Hammer, with his work on discovering the GNM, has given our world this new gift, the gift of healing. He has changed the way we look at disease and health. He has started what is easily one of the biggest revolutions of our times. Such groundbreaking discoveries come but rarely in one's lifetime, giving the power to heal to every individual and the people of the world at large. Indeed, what a phenomenon of a person. He will continue to live in our hearts and inspire us to take the message of his work across the world. First of all, my sincere acknowledgements to Dr. C.J. Varghese, my teacher and guru, for putting together this celebration. I have great regard for him and his incessant pursuit of spreading the knowledge of GNM in India. I have tried to be of help and I am an ardent follower of his effort. A lot needs to be done still. We can all do our bit in spreading this wonderful knowledge amongst us and our near and dear ones and whoever comes in contact with us. The impact of this theory is unmistakable. And anyone who has known it can see its near perfect explanations and the impact on the human biology and life, on the process of so-called disease and healing. Dear friends, it is we in this gathering and the others who are the proponents of this theory who have the onus of spreading this message of Dr. Hammer in our immediate circle of influence, and everyone who would come in touch with us in our day-to-day lives. For me, it's been a life-changing experience. Getting to know the GNM concepts and even more to educate and influence the people I work with in my role as the human resources head. By way of introduction, I am a practicing management professional and a psychologist. Over the last 25 years of working in the corporate organizations in India, I have seen the problems faced by employees at the workplace and in their personal lives very closely. Almost all issues of the organization usually boils down to people issues, and almost all people issues can be traced to the state of their happiness and satisfaction at the workplace. This satisfaction is only broken by demotivation from workplace issues. Some of the workplace issues have far-reaching consequences on the health and wellness of the employee, many a times forcing them to take harsh and emotional decisions at work, including leaving the organization many a times. In some other situations, they become less interested in their work and still worse, become non-productive with their task and even start falling sick as a result, stay away from work. An organization has severe implications from such negative phenomena. Not only does output decrease, not only does it affect the attrition in the company, that is people leaving, it actually can hit the profitability of an organization and its business. And that too in a far-reaching manner than what we are willing to understand today. I will be talking to you about some of my stories and the successes that we have had with the power of GNM. GNM being applied to normal work situations and how it changed the way people saw things and how we worked. In my team, about 25 people in HR, in the last 5 odd years that I have been propounding the theories of Dr. Hammer around me, there has been nobody who is now not familiar with the concepts of GNM. And as a result, there was never any serious illness and loss of productivity and office time due to absence from work. Even so, everyone has now come to see their illness in a new light and don't even let it bother them. So we follow the rule of if you are feeling well, be at work on time. And if you are not feeling well, then definitely be at work on time. Over the years, everyone was familiar with the 5 biological laws, especially the two-phase theory of healing, the concept of special biological programs, the Dirk-Hammer syndrome and the simultaneous effect on the psyche, brain and organ. These were a complete eye-opener for everyone. It was then onwards that everyone around started looking at their diseases and conditions in a new light. Some even began to laugh it out when they faced pain and other symptoms. the usual fever, headache, acne, fatigue, they were all suddenly not something to be upset about. Can you imagine the scene? It was amazing. And personally for me, it was quite an achievement. How it began was with small interventions, with people who actually reported with physical ailments, and gradually we moved on to doing small talks and communication workshops among groups in the different departments. Then it began to be accepted, more freely as a body of knowledge. People were experimenting with themselves, and a new outlook towards their own conditions was clearly visible in the behavior and what happened at the workplace. Needless to say, this soon spread. It spread to their families, their homes, and their friend circles, and it had unfailing results. Again, the magic of Dr. Hammer's theory was at play. In the modern organization, the environment is of a very fast and competitive one, very often leading to highly overworked and stressed individuals. Needless to say, it resulted in the more modern sicknesses that we see these days, the ones that we probably didn't hear of earlier or didn't have to deal with, say, 50 or 100 years ago. So my crusade began when I got the opportunity to confront people individually who reported physical illness. Some with pains, some had acne and scars, and some even with even functional problems, like thyroid and fibroids with the lady employees. Let me tell you the story of a very senior colleague of mine who was traveling on work, and I got a call that he was unable to get out of his hotel bed in Coimbatore. He was admitted to a hospital nearby and treated for muscle pain and cramps in his leg, right leg. He had to cancel his tour and he flew back to Mumbai the next day. This gentleman met me a few days later, still in pain from the experience. Using the GNM knowledge that I had, I straight away asked him if there was something he was trying to avoid or get away from at the workplace. Was he not enjoying himself? Was he finding the new assignment with our company too tough? Well, he had recently joined us, and I thought it was right to ask him how he was doing. He denied as expected. Then I ran him through the concept of the self-devaluation concept and how it can cause a motor conflict of the muscle, the leg muscle, and that to the right leg. Like not being able to move out and feeling rooted. And I asked him more and more specific questions. Then there was silence. He was thinking, obviously. And then slowly he confided in me. He said that before joining our company, he had a tough boss in his earlier company. He was always targeting him. He was also not promoted there in spite of doing a good job. He himself was trying to get out of the company, and he looked for jobs and find a new job and move out. But he was not getting anything because there was no opportunities. And this led to a lot of frustration, he said. I explained to him that how self-devaluation works and how he had gone through all the self-devaluation, and now he is in a better placed job, and he's now downgraded the conflict, and he's actually going to feel better. Even though I thought he was not convinced at that time about what I said, he of course thanked me and he left, and I forgot about it too. The real excitement was when I entered my office the next day. He was sitting there in my room, already before me. As soon as I entered, he pointed to his feet, and he was twisting and turning it to show me as if there was no pain and he was able to move it freely. And this was just a weekend. I quietly told him that this is how great the concept of GNM was. Frankly, I was not expecting results so fast. Almost overnight. So this is it, folks. This is GNM in action at the workplace. Then there was also this interesting episode of another senior colleague of mine who was walking around with a pimple and acne on his face for the last few days. When people asked him, he was joking with everyone, saying that he had become a teenager again and he was having hormonal changes. He was getting younger, and that's why. Then I got to talk to him in private, and I asked him if he had any dangerous situations that he had to face, maybe an accident or something in his face in front of him that he could not avoid or was trying to avoid? He said, not at all. Again, he was denying. I told him about the attack conflict, and the acne was telling me that there was definitely something that he was trying to fight, and also about the acne which was full of pus and it was oozing, and I said it's actually healing now. It should have been happened some time ago. I asked him if any accident he had while driving or some near miss or some attack in his face from the front, and he said no. Then I remembered and I told him that the attack could also be metaphorical. It may not be real. It can be even a word. It can be a verbal attack. Any confrontation with people in power, say like his boss, or where he could not revert back. As soon as I said this, he stopped. He stopped in his tracks. He told me that he had in fact had a confrontation with his boss a few days back. He went to meet his boss as usual in the morning. Since he had a very good relation with his boss, he took the liberty to just open the door and walk in. Suddenly, out of the blue, the boss told him to get out of the room. He said he was busy, and also commented that did he not have any basic manners to knock before entering? Dirk Hammer syndrome. That was the Dirk Hammer moment. He came out and he noticed that people seated outside the room may also have heard this. He quickly convinced himself that probably boss was in a bad mood and forgot about it. He also mentioned that a couple of days later, boss himself called him and spoke to him as if nothing had happened. This convinced him that everything was okay between him and his boss. And next day or the day after that, he saw this awful blister oozing with some liquid from his face. When I explained to him that it was in healing phase and touched upon the fourth biological law and told him about the role of bacteria in healing, he was amused at first. And then he was listening, and then he was convinced. But most importantly, the very next day he came to work, there was no sign of acne. Gone. Vanished. So in short, it is very clear that with the use of GNM, I was being able to make an impact on people's life that worked around with me in the workplace. We slowly encouraged people to go to the website and also conducted sessions for them as groups, as departments. We also took various diseases at different times, the popular ones especially, like heart blocks and fibroids and sinus and thyroid and headaches. The popular ones that everybody used to keep getting. I became the go-to person for people in case of medical conditions. It resulted in a great reduction in time lost, in sickness, and also taking off from work. So it's very clear. There is no more explanation needed about this great theory to anyone. Now the next step is to take this beyond one organization and spread the message of GNM and the teaching of Dr. Hammer. I look forward to organizing more such seminars in other organizations and also open programs in Mumbai. Dr. Varghese has done a program in Mumbai, and I am looking forward to organize many more for him. I invite all the other GNM practitioners here to come forward and help spread the knowledge to each and every one in corporate India, and corporate India seriously needs it. In fact, the world needs it. I'll be happy to help in any form in Bombay, especially if anyone wants to come over and do a seminar. My sincere thanks to the organizing team, especially Dr. Archana, Suhail, in their unquestionable dedication to the cause under the spirited guidance of Dr. Varghese. Also to Dr. Rana from Punjab, who I am hoping to meet sometime soon, and his work of taking the GNM to the non-English speaking audience around us. And of course, a special thank you to all our international speakers and GNM teachers who have come here and participated and contributed valuably to this important occasion. So good luck to all, and that's it from me, and thank you, Dr. Varghese, for having me on the panel. Let's all join hands and take this mission forward. Thank you.